Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 5th of March 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. And thinking about it, there was, of course, things I didn't like about tonight's Smackdown, but as a whole, I thought tonight's Smackdown was really good. I really did enjoy tonight's Friday Night Smackdown, so that's a positive in itself. Give me 1 second to check something. May have a slight connection issue. Fix that. All right, we should be good. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here either on twitch.tv/PW Unlimited or youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, if you're watching us on Twitch and want to help us out, you can subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel can be done one of two different ways, either with a tiered subscription or with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime and you're paying them every month or every year for their Prime service, well, you get some extra bonuses you may not know about, and that is a Twitch Prime Gaming subscription. With your Prime Gaming subscription, you get to subscribe to one Twitch channel throughout the month that you want to support, absolutely free, no extra charge to you, and it really does help us out if you use that extra or free or whatever you want to call it, excuse me, Twitch Prime subscription on us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, over on YouTube, if you watch it on YouTube, you can help us out a couple different ways as well, either in the live chat with a super chat or super sticker donation. All super chat donations do get read live on the air, or by subscribing to the channel as a channel member. If you want to become excuse me, whoa. Can't stop coughing all of a sudden. If you want to become a channel member on the PW Unlimited YouTube channel, all you have to do is go down below and hit where it says join. Doing that will give you early access to non-news videos, emotes in the live chat, a badge next to your name in the live chat, and much more. With that, we are here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown. Let me know in the live chat what you thought of tonight's Smackdown. Also, we're going to throw our poll up right now. Start a new poll. What do you think of Smackdown? Like I said, I liked the show. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right, the Twitch poll is live. Throw that same poll up on YouTube. Probably let a few more of you guys jump in. And didn't like it. All right, we've got the poll going. Also, remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341, where you can text in your thoughts on tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. SmackDown kicked off as they recapped Edge winning the Royal Rumble and choosing the Universal Champion Roman Reigns as his WrestleMania opponent. Michael Cole was standing in the ring and introduced his guest, Daniel Bryan. Cole noted that Reigns and Edge are currently set as the main event, but that could change. He explained that if Bryan wins tonight, he gets a title shot against Roman Reigns at Fastlane and could put a wrench in everybody's WrestleMania plans. Cole pointed out that the original main event for Fastlane was supposed to be Edge and Daniel Bryan teaming up against Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. He wondered why Bryan would rather have a title shot than be in that tag match. Bryan responded that nobody asked him if he wanted to be in the tag match. And my first thought was, are you stupid, Michael Cole? If someone has the opportunity to be in a tag team match with nothing on the line or fight for the main title on their brand, I mean, if they don't pick fight for the main title on their brand, they don't need to be there. They need to be sent packing. You pick that title shot over everything else. Unless it's like a $2 million payday or something for one match. Bryan said that he knows the dream match is Edge versus Roman Reigns. He described it as an Attitude Era versus Thunderdome Era match. And I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess it is. Bryan says that he promises to be the one to ruin that dream match. Bryan said, Cole, I got this from here. I've got a package of my own I want to show. Roll the footage. Or actually, he said, roll it. Bryan showed video from Elimination Chamber where he won and then lost. It also included Edge spearing Roman Reigns. Bryan would go on to state that after he lost to Roman Reigns, he rolled to the floor and saw Edge enter the ring. Edge would spear Roman and point to the WrestleMania sign, and that is the moment that Daniel Bryan knew that he needed to put himself first, because in that moment, he felt like a failure. He said he never really felt that much like a failure in the past, but that right there showed him that he is not going to be in one of the main events of WrestleMania, and that was a failure moment. Bryan says that he promises to be headlining WrestleMania and this might be the last chance he ever has to do so. Bryan regrets putting himself on the back burner. He said, in the last 3 weeks, I've wrestled more than both Edge and Roman combined in the last 3 months. So this is really good, really, really good promo. Roman Reigns would then make his way out to the ring with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. When we come back from break, Reigns, Heyman, and Uso were in the ring face-to-face with Daniel Bryan. Reigns mocked Bryan for being, quote-unquote, driven and ambitious. Reigns noted that Bryan is the little guy and the underdog. Reigns insisted that Bryan doesn't love wrestling. He needs wrestling. Reigns pointed out that he loves this business. He doesn't need this business, though, but everybody here does need him. Reigns claimed that even Bryan needs Roman Reigns. Reigns promised that Bryan wouldn't win against Uso tonight. Bryan tried to speak, but Uso grabbed the mic instead. He got in Bryan's face and told him not to worry about the championship because you're not going to be fighting for it anyways. Uso tried to jump Bryan like he did last week, but Bryan was more cognizant of that and attacked him first. He sent Uso to the floor and had a brief stare down with Roman Reigns. I thought this is a really good, effective segment to open up the show and tell us, hey, you want Bryan to win because you want to see this match at Fastlane. Going forward, it was supposed to be, I believe this is just a rematch from last week. King Corbin and Sami Zayn against Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Well, Corbin comes down to the ring and goes, hey, I don't want to be in a tag team match again. How about I take on one of you guys in a singles match? And Montez Ford was like, well, Rude and Ziggler are ducking us. They won't give us a tag title shot. We don't need to beat these guys again in a tag match, so we got all the time in the world. Why not? So we did get King Corbin versus Montez Ford. This was an all right match. Both of these matches were all right. So we also got Zayn versus Dawkins. So they recapped the Street Profits beating Corbin and Zayn last week before the match actually started. As the match began, Ford had the early advantage and ran wild on Corbin. Corbin took over after hitting a spine buster on Ford. He slowed the pace down and brought Ford to the mat. Ford then got control and hit a standing moonsault for a near fall. He started to climb to the top rope, but Sami Zayn and the camera crew distracted him. Corbin attempted a roll-up. The roll-up was failed, and Ford hit an enziguri. Coming off that enziguri, though, Corbin was able to catch Montez Ford in the end of days and pin him 1, 2, 3. After the match, Sami Zayn pointed out, hey, Corbin, I helped you. Can you please stay and help me? So Zayn gets on the apron and starts taunting Angelo Dawkins. Dawkins knocks him off the apron into Corbin. Corbin goes, what was that for? You just knocked me in the head. No, I'm not going to help you. Bye. So Zayn is there all by himself. Dawkins and Zayn had, like I said, all right match. Dawkins was firmly in control early and hit a standing drop kick for a close near fall. Zayn took over as they fought around ringside. He rocked Dawkins with a hard clothesline for a near fall. Dawkins fired up and hit a splash in the corner. He followed this up with the bulldog for a near fall. Zayn blocked a suplex attempt, but Dawkins hit the twisting neck breaker for a near fall. Dawkins then avoided a blue thunder bomb, but Bryan hit an exploder suplex in the corner. Zayn set him up for the Helluva kick, and Ford began yelling at the documentary crew. This would distract Sami. Dawkins would roll him up and pick up the victory. Sami Zayn would then freak out on the documentary crew afterwards and blamed them on the loss, which I guess he kind of can. In the back, Reginald would approach Carmella with a bottle of champagne. She yelled at him, "So why do you keep helping Sasha Banks?" Carmella then knocked the bottle out of his hand and said, "Reggie, you're fired." So, the sommelier is no longer with Carmella. Next up, we had a match. It was Dominik Mysterio against Chad Gable. Gable and Mysterio had a fun little short match here. Didn't go too long, but I think it was just, honestly, yes, it felt short, but I think it was just the right length for what these two needed. Gable and Mysterio started off with some chain wrestling. Gable got a wrist lock, but Mysterio sent him to the floor. Mysterio briefly took the fight to Gable, but Gable fought back. Gable slowed the pace down and targeted Mysterio's leg. Mysterio fought back and hit a Hurricane Rana. He attempted a tornado DDT, but Gable avoided it and hit a tiger suplex for a near fall. Gable went for the moonsault, but Mysterio moved out of the way. The finish of the match came when Mysterio rolled up Gable to pick up the victory. A lot of roll-ups tonight. After the match, Ray hit a sliding dropkick on Otis and a senton off the apron. Now, I liked this for a couple of different reasons. A, the match itself was good. But B, it's Dominik getting to go out there and work with good wrestlers that he can learn from. I don't think Dominik needs to be out there in 10-minute matches. Dominik can go out there, have a 5, 6, 7-minute match and learn a lot from that. You have him in there with guys like Chad Gable, who can really teach him because he's one of the better, more underrated wrestlers, but that's a different story. And I like this. If you can get Dominik in there with different people every week so he can learn not just how to wrestle different people, but different people with different styles as well. I know they're doing this feud with the Mysterio versus Gable and Otis, so he's not going to get somebody new that soon, but hey, I thought this match was perfect for Dominik. Perfect for Dominik. Caleb Braxton went to interview Seth Rollins in the back. Rollins said he was furious over Cesaro's actions and his attack. Murphy would show up and offer to help Rollins with his Cesaro problem. Rollins demanded that Murphy leave and get out of his face. And my first thought was, so you're just not going to mention the Aaliyah and the Mysterio stuff? They didn't mention it at all. It was just, oh, we haven't seen Murphy in a few weeks. He's back and wants to help Seth. That was it. But all that stuff in November and December and early January was for nothing. Next up, we have Bianca Belair versus Shayna Baszler. Before the match would start, they recapped Baszler. They said Baszler is so brutal and aggressive that on Monday, she kicked out Asuka's tooth, or 2 Mondays ago. She kicked out Asuka's tooth. As this match was about to begin, Sasha Banks would come out. Reginald tried to follow her, and Sasha told him to leave. Early on, Belair attempted a drop kick, but Baszler caught her leg. Belair fought back and regained control. Baszler kicked Belair's arm and hit her running knee in the corner. Baszler continued the target on the arm. Belair fought back and slammed Baszler. She followed this up with a suplex and a back body drop. Belair attempted a double chicken wing, but Baszler sent her to the floor. Belair landed at Reginald's feet and shoved him towards Nia Jax. Remember, Sasha told him to leave, but he never left. Belair jumped back into the ring, but Baszler caught her with a knee. Jax would then shove Reginald. He attacked him, and Reginald moved, so Jax actually ran into Sasha instead. Belair was distracted in the ring, and Baszler went for the Karafuda clutch. Belair reversed it into the KOD and picked up the victory. After the match, Reginald tried to check on Banks. Sasha stood up, slapped him hard across the face, and left. In the back, Roman Reigns spoke with Jey Uso. Reigns noted that if Uso loses, he will be embarrassing the family tonight. Uso promised to win and said he will not do so. Next up, we had a good match between Cesaro and Murphy. Seth Rollins was on commentary with Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Rollins promised that Cesaro would never give him another giant swing. I think this is the Mania match. Hold on. So, I think this could be the Mania match, Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. But what throws the fucking wrinkle in all of that is Fastlane. You got all these matches where you go, I'd like to see that at Mania. that's not a bad idea for Mania. Oh, wait. It might happen at Fastlane instead. Fuck. So Cesaro had the early advantage in this match and hit a backbreaker for a near fall. Murphy sent Cesaro to the floor and hit a huge dive. He followed up with a Meteora for another near fall, and Cesaro was selling that shoulder really, really well from the dive by Murphy early. Cesaro, though, fought back and rocked Murphy with an uppercut as he came off the top rope. Cesaro followed this up with a series of uppercuts in the corner. The finish of the match came after Cesaro used the giant swing into the sharpshooter, and about 30 seconds before the finish occurred, Michael Cole just goes, and Buddy Murphy taps, giving Cesaro the victory. Not even 30 seconds, maybe like 15. So literally, Michael Cole goes, no, he didn't say Buddy Murphy. He goes, and Murphy taps out, giving Cesaro the victory. And then Murphy taps out, giving Cesaro the victory. And I go, oh, someone was a little ahead on that one. Just a little bit. So, after the match, Rollins applauded Cesaro for picking up the victory. From the back, we see Reginald, and he's walking around, and he notices, oh, Sasha Banks' dressing room. I'm going to knock on her door and see what happens. Sasha opens the door. She just yells at him, to leave. She slams it in his face. So he's looking all disheveled. And he walks down the hall a little more. And we get Shayna and Nia. And Shayna goes, oh, look who we have here. Sommelier, or whatever she calls him. And Shayna, not they, but Shayna mocks him for a moment of saying that it was like a failure. And Nia goes, hold on one second. Chill out. You know what? I think he's kind of cute. And he's looking at her like, oh, am I supposed to take that as a compliment? And then the camera cuts. They recapped Apollo Crews injuring Intercontinental Champion Big E, and they stated that Big E will be back next week. Apollo Crews came down to the ring, new music, and new bodyguards. He used his Nigerian accent and said that, well, people don't like the new Apollo. He said, he's not a new Apollo, he's the real Apollo Crews, and called himself a real African American. Crews said, this is how he really talks and who he really is. He admitted that he felt ashamed of his Nigerian heritage growing up when he was younger because of the stories that he heard from his father. However, Crews understands everything his family did was to teach him lessons. He said he is proud of his ancestors. Crews says that he knows that Big E's returning next week, and that's exactly what he wants. He mocked Big E, says that I'm coming for you, and I'm demanding a shot at your Intercontinental Championship. And I will defeat you for the title. I'm not a big fan of the accent. The delivery was good. But I'm not a big fan of the accent, yet he did it so well that I think it can grow on me. It wasn't one of those, oh yeah, we could tell he's faking this. Oh yeah, this ain't a real accent. Even though we know it's not, it sounded real. Unlike King Booker. And Booker's fake accent when he was King of the Ring. Because he just did that so bad. It was just like, I am your king, King Booker. I'm like, fucking. At least he's not doing anything like that. He's talking like he's from Nigeria. Got the thick accent. He's like, I am an African American. I don't know. I can't do it. I sound more like Snaggletooth just there. But this was a good segment. It built up that Apollo Crews ain't no joke. And not to be taken lightly. In the back, Natalya and Tamina were speaking with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Natty was outraged that they are not getting a tag title shot. And then at Fastlane, it's, well, Sasha and Bianca again. Pearce noted, well, the match has already been made, so yeah, and he left. Deville then looks at him and pointed out that she would have made a different match. So it's like, she works for Adam Pearce, but it's not always in agreeance of some of the moves that are being made. I don't know if that's going to play into anything down the road, but it could be interesting if it does. Kayla Braxton attempted to interview Jey Uso when he was attacked by Daniel Bryan. If we came back from a commercial, we got Ding Dong Hello in the back. It was kind of like a watered down version. Basically, so I think this was set up to happen or not happen. Like either way, if the cage is ready, we won't do it. If the cage isn't ready, send it to Ding Dong Hello, and we sent it to Ding Dong Hello. Bailey said, some of these talk shows, they do a segment called Mean Tweets, but I get so many good tweets, I'm going to call it Sweet Tweets. She read a couple tweets, 2 were really good, and then the last one was a mean tweet, and she got mad at the producer and stormed off. Then we got something we really didn't need. How long, here's my question, how long have we been seeing cage matches in WWE? For fucking ever. And for them to send Corey Graves in the ring to explain to us basically what a cage match is and how devastating a cage match is, stupid. He's like, you can win by pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage, either over the top of the cage or through the door. Also, I've got a cameraman placed up at the top to show you that when guys start to climb, this is the perspective they have. I'm like, really? Really? I know what they were trying to do, make this match seem way more important, but it didn't do it for me. So we move into the match. It's Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman walked to ringside. Reigns suddenly stopped and looked down. Heyman looked down at the same spot. He then ran and grabbed a chair for Reigns and sat in it. Bryan and Uso charged at each other early on as the bell rang, and they traded shots in the middle of the ring. Uso took over and drove Bryan headfirst into the cage. He attempted to walk out the door, and Bryan cut him off. Uso tried to climb out of the cage, but Bryan went after him. Bryan slammed Uso's head into the cage, but Uso fought back and dropped Bryan off the top rope. Bryan fired back and hit a missile drop kick. He kicked Uso's arm and began to work it over. Bryan ran up the corner and avoided Uso. He tried to climb out of the cage, but Uso cut him off. Uso then caught Bryan in a tree of woe and stomped on his bad knee. The two fought on the top rope, with both trying to escape. Uso regained control and gave Bryan a Samoan drop off the top. Top rope, that is, not top of the cage. After a commercial break, Bryan was in control, and he and Uso were on the fighting at the top of the cage. They climbed back into the ring and fought on the top rope yet again. A lot of fighting on the top rope in this match. Bryan hit a series of kicks from a standing position on the top rope. Uso, though, fought back and hit a super kick, which knocked Bryan down. Uso followed it up with a splash off the top for a near fall. Uso tried to crawl to the door, but Bryan would stop him. Uso fought back and scored a near fall, but Bryan recovered with a roll-up for a near fall of his own. Bryan then rocked Uso with a series of elbows. Uso gave Bryan a slingshot into the cage, and Uso tried to climb out of the cage, but Bryan cut him off. Bryan tried to escape. Uso dragged him back in. Bryan then slammed Uso's arm against the cage, and Bryan gave Uso a butterfly suplex into the yes lock. Uso tried to go to the ropes, and the ref's yelling at him, Jey, there's no rope break in the cage. Jey, there's no rope break in the cage. There's no rope break in the cage. And finally, Jey Uso's like, fuck it, I'm tapping. And he taps out. And Roman, all too upset at ringside. Bryan climbs to the top of the cage, celebrates with some yes chants as the show goes off the air, and they tell us, hey, you know what this means? Well, title match at Fastlane. It's Daniel Bryan challenging Roman Reigns. So with that, guys, that was Friday Night Smackdown. I thought overall it was a pretty good show. Better than the last couple of weeks, that's for sure. With that, now I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to let me know what you thought of tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. Do so by texting your thoughts to 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. Let's check out the polls while we wait for some of those text messages to come through. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 100% of you thought SmackDown was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll goes, 66% of you liked SmackDown, 26% thought it was all right, and 7% disliked tonight's SmackDown. As I check text messages, we do have a couple of them. This person here says, WWE bring back the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. So from what I have been told, I think I mentioned this last week on a podcast, but from when I was told, night one will be one of the Battle Royals on the pre-show, whether that's the men's or the women's Battle Royal. And then night two of WrestleMania, the pre-show will feature the other Battle Royal. That's what I was told. Over the weekend of Elimination Chamber. About 2 weeks ago, I was told that. Says, I've got an idea for Fastlane. Drew, Miz, Sheamus, Orton. Winner faces Bobby Lashley. WWE title on the line. What do you think? Also, do you see Daniel Bryan beating Roman Reigns at Fastlane? I don't see Daniel Bryan beating Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Doing a multi-man number one contenders match for the WWE Championship. Not a bad idea, but then what does Lashley do at Fastlane? Watch? Not compete? As far as Bryan does go, I doubt this will happen, but I would not be shocked if the Mania match becomes a triple threat. I really would not be shocked. The person says, so is Murphy a heel and aligned with Seth again? What a waste to break him off, turn him face with the Mysterios. Very, very, very unfortunate for Murphy. He's getting the Big Show treatment. 1 week you're a heel. Next week you're a babyface. 2 weeks later you're a heel. How long till he's a babyface again? Said that Ding Dong's Hello segment on SmackDown was lame. I was hoping that Bayley would react to them or to the mean tweets. No, it was just a filler segment because the cage wasn't set. Like the cage wasn't ready. So they had it. Smart of them to have a filler segment ready. But the cage probably wasn't ready. And I'll ask about that. The cage wasn't ready. And so they said, hey, we need about 5 minutes. Cut it to Ding Dong Hello. Versus says, probably won't happen. But the Fiend return. What if the Fiend returns, possibly defeating Randy Orton either at Fastlane or WrestleMania? Do you see Orton's character change similar to Braun Strowman? No. The match of Mania is Orton and the Fiend, and I see Orton winning. It also says, do you see Kevin Owens continuing his feud with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, or starting a new feud on SmackDown? He's got to do something new. We've seen too much Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. I'm over it. First says, do we get Seth versus Cesaro at Fastlane, Mania, or both? I hope it's the Mania match, but we've got Fastlane that we need to fill out. So unfortunately, it's probably going to be Fastlane, but we'll see. And this person, last text message says, I wish Corey Graves would have shut up. It just has to. I wish Corey Graves would have shut up. It just have the steel cage match. Corey Graves ruined it for me, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say Corey Graves ruined the match or anything, but it wasn't needed. I get why they tried to do that, but it just wasn't needed. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, we will be live back right here on both of these channels on Sunday, breaking down everything that went down at AEW Revolution. Remember, AEW Revolution does come to us this Sunday night. It's confusing because they're normally on Saturday nights, but this Sunday is AEW Revolution, available in the United States on pay-per-view and BR Live, available outside the United States on Fight TV. So with that, guys, have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll see you right back here Sunday for Revolution. All right.